On a long weekend, Leo and I dressed in mascot costumes to save money, hoping to buy Ethan a $30 birthday shirt. But as we were leaving, I ran into him proposing at the mall. The protagonists weren't me and my son. I held back tears and personally handed over the ring. Ethan didn't recognize me. He knelt on one knee, holding a huge diamond ring, and confessed his love to Chloe. "Chloe, you and Lily are the people I want to protect the most. Please marry me and let me give you and Lily a warm home." Once upon a time, Ethan had proposed to me this way too. Only, my engagement ring was a $5 trinket bought from the roadside, and it faded after only a few days of wear. Watching's happy smile, I fell into a memory. 5 years ago, Ethan's family suffered a severe blow, leading to bankruptcy, and his engagement with the Chloe family was called off. A down and out Ethan became an ordinary office worker. One evening, on my way home, I encountered street harassment, and he stepped in to help me. After that, I pursued him, and a year later we started dating. Then I unexpectedly got pregnant. At that time, I was very scared, afraid Ethan wouldn't want the child, and even more afraid he'd think I had deliberately planned it. But he said that even without a child, he would still marry me. It wasn't until today that I realized how foolish I had been. Ethan didn't like me or Leo. Otherwise, he wouldn't have pretended to be poor in front of us. After handing over the ring, Leo and I changed out of our mascot costumes and went home. Leo saw that I was still disturbed and cupped my face to comfort me. "Mom, what's wrong?" I was hesitating how to tell Leo when Ethan came back. Leo excitedly ran to him and intimately kissed his face. "Dad, we saw someone who looked just like you at the mall today. Mom thought it was you." But she got sad. Ethan pinched Leo's nose and said lovingly, "Why would that make her sad?" Leo blurted out, "That man proposed to someone at the mall and had a huge diamond ring." The smile on Ethan's face instantly froze, and his gaze shifted to me. "Where did you two go today?" With my back to him, I quickly wiped away the falling tears, waiting for him to confess to me. "The mall downtown. Didn't you go there?" Ethan hugged me from behind, burying his face in my neck and then kissing it. "I was at a business dinner with my boss today. How could I have time to pop up at any mall? I smell like alcohol now, so I'm going to take a shower. Oh, and on the way back, I saw the shoe store had a sale, so I bought Leo a pair of sneakers as a birthday gift. I have to work overtime at the office tomorrow, so I won't have time to be with him." Leo excitedly tried on the shoes, continuously thanking his dad, as happy as a little bird. Seeing his happy face at that moment, I began to doubt if I had really mistaken someone else for him. After all, there are many people in the world who look alike. Moreover, Ethan genuinely smelled strongly of alcohol, so that night I went to sleep with doubts. The next morning was a long weekend. Ethan left very early, after dropping Leo off with a neighbor. I followed him initially. Ethan took a scooter ride for $1 or $2 for a few miles from home, then got into a Maybach. They drove into a bustling area and finally stopped in front of a luxury hotel. When he got out, he was dressed in a suit, looking incredibly distinguished. The doorman respectfully called him Mr. Ethan. Only when I entered the ballroom did I realize it was Lily's 5th birthday party. Chloe's daughter, the little girl, dressed elaborately with a tender, pale face, sweetly called out, "Daddy, I want to see my birthday gift." Ethan's smile reached his ears as he pulled out a deed to a house. "This is the mansion Daddy bought for you. Every year on your birthday, Daddy will buy you property to save for your dowry." The little girl didn't understand and pouted, uninterested. "I don't want this silly paper. I want a pair of crystal shoes." Ethan immediately told his assistant to custom make a pair of crystal shoes. Chloe playfully scolded, "You spoil her too much." Ethan held the little girl's hand in one and Chloe in the other, looking like the happiest man in the world, and said with a laugh, "I bought a mansion worth several $1,000,000, so a pair of crystal shoes worth a few $100,000 is nothing." I was disguised as a server, standing not far from them, and almost cried aloud, thinking of Leo's joyful face as he tried on his $10 shoes from the store's sale. I felt heartbroken. Both were Ethan's children, yet they lived worlds apart. For 5 whole years, my son and I had lived a hard life with him, only to end up like this. How ridiculous. "What's wrong with you? You spilled red wine on my dress. Do you know how expensive this dress is?" I wasn't paying attention, and the tray in my hand bumped into a nearby guest. "I'm sorry, madam. I will compensate you for your dress." The other party was relentless, her words sharp and malicious, and she slapped me. "This dress cost over $7,500. How are you going to pay for it? I think you did it on purpose. Let's just call the police and have you arrested. Hearing the price of the dress, my legs felt weak. My monthly salary was only $500. Even if I didn't eat or drink for a year, I couldn't save $50,000. The commotion quickly drew the attention of others, including Ethan. What happened? I lowered my head and shrank into a corner. Feeling Ethan's scrutinizing and oppressive gaze on me, the lobby manager rushed over to handle the situation. Mr. Ethan, I'm so sorry. Our staff are clumsy and have caused you trouble. Ethan frowned, clearly in a bad mood. If you know she's clumsy, why did you assign her to work? Just fire her. The manager bowed and assented, then scowled and told me to leave. Now get out. If you anger Mr. Ethan, you'll never work in Riverwood again. I covered my burning face, tears flowing uncontrollably in the past. If Ethan knew I was being bullied, he would have stood up for me, but now, he was the one treating me so terribly. When I returned home, Leo noticed my distress and looked at me with concern. Mom, were you bullied? I'm going to tell Dad. I shook my head and pulled out the cake I had bought for him. Mom wasn't bullied. Don't worry. Just then, Ethan called, Grace, I won't be home tonight. You two go to sleep and don't wait for me. Remember to tell Leo happy for me. As I was about to speak, I faintly heard a little girl's voice from the other end of the phone. Daddy, stop talking on the phone. Come blow out the candles with me and make a wish. Ethan must have thought I didn't hear clearly and quickly made an excuse to hang up. My heart sank completely. Did he really think my son and I would die without him? I looked at Leo's innocent smile, my heart aching with sadness. If he knew the truth, I didn't know how much he would cry. The next morning, Leo suddenly broke out in a rash and had difficulty breathing. Fortunately, he was sent to the hospital in time, otherwise, his life would have been in danger. The doctor said Leo had an allergy, and the allergy triggered by the cheap shoes Ethan bought. Children's skin is delicate and can't handle cheap products. I couldn't help but feel angry and decided to throw out the shoes Ethan bought. Coincidentally, I ran into Ethan, who had also brought his daughter to the hospital. Chloe was crying, leaning on his shoulder. Ethan, it's all my fault for not watching her properly and letting Lily cut her hand. She's going to play the piano, and a scar on her hand will look terrible. Ethan's eyes were filled with heartache. I forbid you from blaming yourself like that. As her father, I'm equally responsible. Don't worry. I'll have an expert to make sure there's no scarring. I quietly watched the two of them from a distance and silently called Ethan, my voice very cold. Your son is in the hospital with a severe allergy. You need to come here immediately. Half an hour later, Ethan, having changed out of his designer clothes worth thousands of dollars and into $20 clothes, rushed over. Leo, Daddy's here. How are you feeling? Fine beads of sweat broke out on Ethan's forehead. He seemed truly nervous. Leo lay on the hospital bed, trying to smile at him. Daddy, I'm fine. I'll get better soon. Ethan asked me the cause of Leo's illness. If hadn't been there, I would have exposed him already. The allergen was the $10 shoes you bought. Don't buy cheap products for Leo anymore. If you can't afford better, then don't buy anything at all. Ethan caught on and blamed me in turn. What do you mean by that? Our financial situation isn't good, and I didn't intentionally buy cheap things for Leo. As for you, his mother, why didn't you bring him here immediately when he had the allergy? What kind of mother are you? I stared at him, my eyes reddening. The image of him consoling Chloe moments before flashed in my mind. It was completely different treatment. How cheap must I be for Ethan to look down on me and not cherish me at all? Ethan saw that I was about to cry and regretted his impulsiveness. He wiped away my tears with one hand and held my hand with the other. Grace, I spoke too harshly just now. Don't be angry. I apologize. I just borrowed $800 from my boss as compensation for you, okay? I slowly pulled my hand away. Better to have a sharp pain now than prolonged suffering. I decided to confront him in front of Leo. It was time to expose his true colors and get justice for me and my son. Ethan, I have something to ask you, and you must tell me everything honestly. Who is the child's father? Please come pay the bill. The nurse suddenly came over to urge us. Ethan replied that he was and eagerly followed the nurse to pay. 10 minutes later, Ethan sent a text message saying the medical bill had been paid, but there was an issue at the office, and his boss called him to resolve it. As I read the text message, I was already standing outside Chloe's daughter's hospital room, watching him gently tell the little girl a story. My poor son, at such a young age, felt guilty for worrying about spending the family's money because of his illness. After turning to leave, I found a divorce lawyer, intending to divorce Ethan. Regarding custody, I wasn't worried that he would fight me for him. After all, my son and I were nothing but unworthy, cheap commodities in his eyes. I took Leo home, but Ethan still didn't return, and his phone was unreachable. Just then, an uninvited guest arrived. Chloe entered our home arrogantly. "You must be Grace, right?" Just as shameless as I imagined, Leo's small body stood in front of me. "Don't you bully my mom," Chloe sneered. "Grace, do you think you're something special just because you gave birth to a son? Did you intentionally make your son sick and hospitalize him to force Ethan to soften and acknowledge you to publicly? Do you think you can win against me?" If the Ethan family hadn't faced a crisis back then, it wouldn't have been your turn to have an Ethan child. I couldn't stand it anymore and retorted, "No matter how despicable I am, I would never stoop so low as to be a mistress." Slap, Chloe angrily slapped me. "A slut and a bastard dare to yell at me? What are you?" With that, she gestured to the burly men she had brought. "Smash everything. After you're done, send this mother and son to a mental hospital. Ethan will forget about them when he can't find them, and then sell them abroad." I lunged at Chloe like a madwoman, grabbing her hair fiercely, a mother's strength. "If you dare touch my son, I'll kill you." The burly men who were about to smash things just reacted when they heard a voice. "Stop." Ethan had returned from outside and stumbled upon this scene. I ignored his words and continued to wrestle with Chloe. Chloe seemed scared too, not expecting me to hold onto her tightly. "Ethan, save me. This woman is crazy." Seeing me try to truly hurt her, Ethan panicked and kicked me to the ground. Leo, seeing me being bullied, raised his little hand and came to hit Ethan. Ethan lost his patience and pushed Leo to the ground, scolding him, "You're just like your mother." Leo cried, hugging me, asking if Daddy didn't want us anymore. I stared intently at Ethan. After he calmed down, he came to comfort us. "Grace, you used to be so reasonable. Why are you so impulsive now? Our family isn't well off. We don't have money to compensate if you hurt someone. Don't worry, I'll get rid of these people in a bit." I endured the pain in my lower abdomen and laughed sarcastically. It's hard for Mr. Ethan to still be acting poor with me at this point. Chloe has already came knocking. "Aren't you tired of acting?" Hearing this, Ethan's outstretched hand paused in midair, his expression somewhat flustered. "When did you find out?" "The day you proposed to her." "I knew." Ethan looked at me, speaking earnestly. "Grace, I'll tell you about these things later. Can you apologize to Chloe first?" So, he was only acting this way to appease the one he truly loved. I hugged my endlessly weeping son. "Chloe came knocking to bully us, and you still want us to apologize to her? Ethan, where's your conscience?" Ethan frowned, thinking for a moment. Chloe hurriedly defended herself. "Ethan, the reason I brought these people here today was to help her move. I know juggling two families isn't easy for you, and I wanted to help you, no matter what. I'll accept my place as the mistress. I don't even care if our daughter is called a child born out of wedlock. I just want our family to be happy." She spoke sincerely, and Ethan's tightly furrowed brows slowly relaxed. He coldly commanded me, "Grace, I'll give you 3 days to think about how to apologize to Chloe, otherwise, we'll just have to get a divorce." After they left, Leo and I sat numbly. "Mom, is Daddy really leaving us?" Leo stared at me blankly, seemingly unable to accept this reality. I stroked his little face. "Leo, it's not that Daddy is leaving us. It's that we don't want him anymore in this world. We can live without him." The next morning, Leo and I left Riverwood and boarded a bus to another city. I didn't believe that I couldn't support Leo and myself with my own abilities. Before leaving, I mailed the drafted divorce papers to Ethan. 3 days passed, and Ethan kept staring at the messages on his phone, but I hadn't sent any messages, which left him annoyed and restless. In the past, whenever he was in a bad mood, I would approach him and showed concern. And who often said he wanted to be like his father when he grew up. His assistant walked in with a stack of documents, cautiously saying, "Mr. Ethan, the lady, Ms. Grace, sent something over." When heard that I had sent something, he was secretly pleased. Thinking that my son and I couldn't live without him after all, he deliberately pretended to handle documents, saying indifferently, "What is it?" "Divorce papers." Ethan immediately swept the documents off his desk in anger and roared, "Tell her to come here now." The assistant trembled. "Ms. Grace seems to have left Riverwood. No one knows where she went." Ethan felt a sudden emptiness in his heart, like a piece of his flesh had been cruelly gouged out. "Mr. Ethan, The assistant panicked when he saw Ethan suddenly faint and quickly called an ambulance to take him to the hospital. When woke up again, Chloe and her daughter were by his hospital bed. In his daze, he mistook them for me and Leo. "Grace, don't leave me. You and Leo are the people I love most. I don't want anyone else." Chloe's face instantly turned pale, but her daughter couldn't hold back. "Mommy, Daddy says he doesn't want us. I want to go back to my old daddy." Chloe hastily covered her daughter's face, but Ethan had already heard the words. He immediately had a paternity test done, and the results showed they were not father and daughter. Chloe hugged her daughter and knelt on the ground, begging for forgiveness. "Ethan, I was wrong. I just loved you too much. Please forgive me." Ethan's anger was hard to quell when my family had problems. "You immediately broke ties with me and then went abroad. A month ago, you came to me with a child, claiming she was my daughter. I didn't doubt you. I just felt so guilty that the child had been without a father all these years, so I tried every way to compensate." "Chloe, you are the most shameless woman I've ever met. Get out of here with your child." Chloe wouldn't agree easily. She was drowned in debt abroad, and without Ethan as the support, her and her daughter's riches and prestige for the rest of their lives would be gone, but it was too late. Ethan had people kick her out, and all the luxury cars, mansions, and diamond rings were gone. Leo and I had been living in Lakewood for half a year now. I used my savings to rent a storefront for a diner. Business wasn't booming, but it was definitely enough to support Leo and me. One afternoon, after finishing up at home, I went to the school to pick up Leo. At the school gate, I saw a black Maybach. Before I could process what was wrong, I heard Leo's annoyed voice from not far away. "I don't want to go with you. I want to wait for my mom. You're a bad person. I hate you." I quickly jogged over to shield Leo, and when I looked up, I saw Ethan, elegantly dressed and handsome. It was peak dismissal time at the school, and everyone looked over, exclaiming with envy, "His dad is so handsome and rich. I wish my husband were that handsome." My expression was indifferent, but Ethan looked eager. "Grace, I came to take you and Leo home." "No need, we've already cut ties. You should go back to the one you truly loved." I was about to leave with Leo when the principal came out, smiling, to mediate. Leo's mom. "This is a school board member who donated a lot of money to our school. He knows Leo likes basketball and specifically donated a large sum to the school to build basketball courts and hire coaches. Let's talk things over nicely," Ethan said softly. "Grace, the sun is strong here. Shall we talk in the car?" I was silent for a moment, then took Leo into his car. There were too many eyes and ears here. If we didn't leave, who knew what kind of rumors would spread? At an upscale cafe, Ethan took out a new toy, acting like a doting father. "Leo, this is a gift Daddy bought for you. See if you like it." Leo glanced at me and shrank back. "I don't need your gifts. You're not my dad anymore." Ethan's eyes reddened, and his voice choked as he said, "How am I not your dad? You're the person Daddy loves most." Leo seemed rather indifferent. "The people you love most aren't Mom and me. It's others otherwise. You wouldn't bully us. You bought the cheapest things for Mom and me, but the best for that mother and daughter. I actually know everything." Ethan was too ashamed to speak for a moment. The steaming tea blurred his vision. Ethan seemed to have aged a lot, with a few gray hairs appearing among his dark ones. I felt a little emotional. "My son and I spent so many years with you, and this is the first time we've been to such a fancy place. The toy you just gave Leo must have cost hundreds of dollars. And it's imported. I remember you used to buy Leo only generic discounted products." Ethan closed his eyes in pain. "I'm sorry. I had my reasons back then. When our family went bankrupt, I experienced the harsh realities of life. After I rebuilt his empire, I was afraid money would make our family bond change, so I wanted to wait until Leo was older to tell him. Later, Chloe found me with a little girl, claiming she was my child. That child looked 5 or 6 years old. I felt guilty about the lack of a father figure all those years, so I could only compensate with money. At the same time, I was also afraid that if I told you about this, you would divorce me, but things still messed up. Chloe lied to me. The child isn't mine." After listening to his emotional journey, I didn't feel much pity for him. I only felt ridiculous for being so foolish. I had worked so hard and stayed with him for so many years, only to be guarded like a thief in the end. Before leaving, I left him with a final message: "We survived harder times before. Now that you're wealthy, my son and I don't care." The past hurt is irreversible. If you truly cared for Leo, you shouldn't have picked up his son so publicly, and you certainly shouldn't have donated money to his school and caused gossip. The matter should have ended there, but an unexpected incident still occurred. One weekend, while I was busy at the diner, and Leo was doing homework at home, someone broke into our home and kidnapped him. They demanded $150,000 in ransom and forbade me from calling the police, threatening to kill the hostage otherwise. I panicked and told Ethan about it. Ethan immediately brought $150,000 in cash, saying he would redeem Leo. Upon reaching the designated location, Ethan and I demanded to see Leo. One stocky-built man with dark skin and a scarred face came out. "Mr. Ethan is indeed straightforward. Unfortunately, you came too late. I've changed my mind. The ransom is now $300,000. If you don't have $300,000, you can forget about taking your son." A vein throbbed on Ethan's forehead. His knuckles cracked as he squeezed his hands, negotiating with suppressed anger. $300,000 is fine, but I need to make sure my son is okay first. The kidnapper snapped his fingers, and his subordinate came out holding my son. "Mommy, I'm so scared." Seeing crying in fear, my heart twisted fiercely. I comforted him. "Don't be afraid. Daddy and Mommy are here to rescue you. We'll take you home soon." As was about to leave with me, the kidnapper boss suddenly said, "Let the child's mother stay. I need more security." Ethan's eyes were practically murderous. "Don't go too far." I tugged on Ethan's hand and gently shook my head, exchanging a look with him. With years of marital understanding, he should have known what I meant. When I walked next to the subordinate, I took advantage of his distraction and threw a handful of chili powder into his eyes. Then I quickly grabbed Leo, and Ethan kicked the kidnapper boss in the chest. "Grace, run with Leo quickly." I fled quickly with Leo, just as the police who were on standby arrived. The kidnapper boss was enraged. "You dirty woman, how dare you trick me? I'll make you a widow." With that, he drew a sharp knife and plunged it into the area of Ethan's heart. Ethan had no time to dodge and took the knife directly. Immediately, blood seeped out from under his clothes, slowly spreading. Ethan's lean, strong hands covered the wound, but he couldn't stop the blood from gushing out. His face was as white as a sheet, as if he might die at any moment. Ethan was rushed to the hospital. The doctor said his condition was critical and told my son and I to be prepared. At that moment, hearing the news, I didn't feel that kind of sorrow. Perhaps I truly didn't love him anymore. After all, if he died, I could only say it was fate. If he hadn't picked up his son so publicly at that time, the kidnappers wouldn't have targeted Leo. I looked at Leo in my arms. He didn't seem too sad either. Instead, he comforted me. "Mommy, don't worry. If dies, I'll take care of you when I grow up." I patted Leo's head. "Good boy. Mommy is very happy to have you." After several hours of surgery, Ethan survived. The first thing he did when he woke up was ask to see us. Ethan was very weak on the hospital bed, but still managed a faint smile toward my son and me. "Grace, you and Leo don't have to worry about me. I'm fine," I said blandly. "Don't worry. We have great faith in the doctor's skills. So we weren't too worried about you, if there's nothing else." "Well, go." Ethan looked a little disappointed and continued to smile at Leo. "Leo, when Daddy's better, I'll take you out to play, okay?" Leo's attitude was the same as mine. "Uncle, you don't have to rush to be discharged. Mom and I are doing very well on our own." Hearing this, Ethan didn't get angry but asked his assistant to send us back. Before we left, Ethan looked at me with a pleading gaze. "Grace, can you bring Leo to see me once a week, just for an hour?" I politely declined. "You should focus on recovering. My diner is busy, and Leo has homework on weekends, so we don't have that much time." With that, I left with Leo. During his hospitalization, he often sent gifts to Leo, and the number of people buying things at my diner gradually increased. I could tell that Ethan had arranged all of this. This weekend, I planned to take Leo to see an old friend. Noah had returned from his hometown, and Leo and I were both very happy to hear he was coming back. When we first arrived in Lakewood, we had received his care, which allowed us to live a stable life. At the bus station, Noah came out dragging his luggage. Leo couldn't help but rush forward. "Uncle, I missed you so much. What took you so long to come back?" Noah lifted Leo with both hands and laughed. "You rascal, you're heavy again. Have you grown taller? It's your birthday today, and Uncle brought you a gift." Leo proudly said, "Of course. I'll get heavier and taller, and then you won't be able to pick me up anymore. Come on, let's go home and unwrap the gift." Amidst laughter and playful scuffles, we finally arrived home. The dishes were already prepared. They just needed to be heated up. Leo was 6 years old this year. Thinking about last year, when he didn't even have a proper birthday, made my heart ache. Just as the three of us were about to make a wish and cut the cake, Ethan arrived. He hadn't fully recovered. Though weak, his gaze was fierce as he stared at Noah. "Who are you?" Noah knew his identity. "I'm Leo's uncle. I'm here to celebrate his birthday today." Ethan didn't let down his guard, but out of respect for Leo's birthday, he didn't press further. When it was time to make a wish and blow out the candles, Leo said, "I hope Mom and Uncle can be together, and we can be a family of 3. Ethan's face immediately fell. "Leo, you have a dad. We are the family of 3. Leo pouted. "What's so good about you?" "Someone who betrayed Mom and me doesn't deserve to be my dad." Noah sternly disciplined Leo. "Leo, you shouldn't talk like that. You can't be so willful. Even on your birthday." Ethan showed no gratitude. "It's not your place to discipline my son. You shouldn't even be here." I stepped in to defend Noah. "Ethan, please leave." Even though Leo had been reprimanded by Noah, he held no grudge. "Mommy's right. I don't like you here. Don't be mean to Uncle. Go." Ethan almost cried. "Fine, I'll go." His departing figure was so lonely and desolate. He even looked back after a few steps, but none of us followed to stop him. Once only the 3 of us remained. Leo said it was the happiest birthday he had ever had. He took my hand in Noah's, his face innocent, and said, "I hope next year Uncle and Mom can have a little brother or sister for me." Noah glanced at me, and my ears were already bright red. "That little rascal." After the birthday celebration, I walked Noah downstairs. Outside the apartment complex, Noah spoke plainly, looking at me seriously. "Even can see how I feel about you. Grace, can you give me a chance?" Noah and I were friends in our youth back then. Neither of us knew it was love. After reuniting years later, we had both become much more mature and stable. "I'm still dealing with my divorce from my ex-husband." Noah's eyes were sincere. "It's okay, I can wait, and even help you face the legal process. We can talk about our future after the divorce is finalized." I nodded, then saw him off. The next morning, Ethan's assistant came to see me, saying he wanted to discuss something important. I thought he wanted to fight for Leo's custody, and my heart filled with anxiety. When I saw Ethan, my hanging heart finally settled. Because had privately left the hospital after his surgery, his wound became infected, and he would not live much longer. I agreed to the divorce. "This is the only thing I can do for you before I die." Ethan spoke weakly, and tears started to fall as he talked. "These days, I often think about the wonderful times our family of 3 spent in the rental apartment. Back then, you often felt sorry for me and massaged me. Leo was also very sensible, helping you with chores and waiting obediently for me to come home. How did we end up like this?" My expression was calm. "You'll have to ask yourself, how would I know? Regardless, I should thank you for agreeing to the divorce." Hearing me say thank you, Ethan closed his eyes in pain, 2 tear streaks running down his cheeks, and said tragically, "That thank you makes me so sad." "Never mind. I can't win back your heart anyway. All my assets will go to you and Leo. If, and I mean if, Leo ever thinks of his dad in the future, remember to tell him that his dad loved him the most." After saying these words, he fell into a deep sleep. After leaving the hospital, I felt an unprecedented sense of liberation. Finally, I no longer had any ties to Ethan. As for his money, I would spend what I needed and donate the rest. Less than a week later, Ethan died. His affairs were handled by his assistant, my sons and my lives continued. And Noah finally openly pursued me. Our lives as a family of 3 became expansive and happy.